Well, greetings, everyone. I'm Dawn Francis, and I'm so excited to be with you today. Today, 2022, is an exciting year. This is the book show in which we are hoping that all of you are going to enjoy. And we're so excited today because we're taking a slight turn from our last show and we're going back into the Discovering Strength series, harnessing strength during times of uncertainty. And we're going to be having a conversation with one of our wonderful authors, none other than Miss Loren Ferguson. And as she's getting ready to join us, I just want you, as my audience members, to remember that this is an interactive show. We're going to ask you questions and you can ask us questions. We're going to dive deeply into this wonderful lady, Loren Ferguson, and her story that is in the Discovering Strength series, book one, Harnessing Strength During Times of Uncertainty. So I want you to welcome my first guest of 2022, none other than Miss Loren Ferguson. Welcome, welcome, welcome. How are you today?
I am well. I am delighted to be joining you on this platform.
Well, I'm delighted that you're joining me on this platform too. And so is all of our audience members. Everyone is excited, I know. Thank you, Miss Ladre. She is interacting here right now. Wonderful to see you, is what she just said. And so as we're getting ready to dive in, and I know you're having a fabulous day. I can see it written all over your face. I see that beautiful smile.
Um, I
Yay!
am.
Well, as our audience is going to be introduced to Miss Lady Loren Ferguson, I would like to start at the very beginning. And I'd like for us to just kind of get to know who Lady Loren is. Who is this woman without all of the titles? And we know that you're going to share those titles throughout our time together today. But I'd like for you to just take a moment and just tell us who is Loren Ferguson.
Well, if I was to describe myself, I would say Loren is a very warm, very caring, very kind, very compassionate person. I love to encourage. I love to see people happy. And I just love to be able to give love. That's a double thing, right? Love to be able to give love.
I would love him to be able to give love. Well, that is really special. Because a lot of people can be selfish with their love. It's like, I want love, I want love, I want love. But to be able to say that it's reciprocal.
Yeah.
I hope I said that right. At any rate, where you give love, you accept love, you receive love. And
Yeah.
as we are journeying in to your chapter, I want to start really at the beginning. Your title. The title of your chapter is Weighted. It's a love journey of assurance, heartache, strength, and power. And we're going to break those apart because they are weighted. A love journey of assurance. I would like for you to just kind of tell us, why did you title your chapter that? And remember, we're going to break it apart. So don't give it all away real quick.
I
Okay.
know it.
So, a love journey of assurance. A love journey of assurance. What does that mean?
Well, assurance. This journey started over 30 years ago, but it was penned um, just over a year ago, and it would have incorporated 10 years. but I've got to start from the beginning. And it was where love found me, and the assurance that I received from this love that found me um, had to be included in my writings, because love found me and it gave me immediate assurance of love.
Oh wow. Okay. So we're going to talk about this love thing, because it just it keeps coming back again and again and again, this love thing. So, well, tell us a little bit more about yourself. Go a little bit deeper. What do you do? You know, what is who is Loren Ferguson again?
Well, wow, who is Loren Ferguson? What do I do? My number one actually passion uh, is law. I grew up, that's my first love, law. I'm a paralegal by training, by profession. Um, I'm also a mother of two wonderful sons. I am also now, my field has changed a little because of my love for people and working with people. I work as a community outreach manager for the Good Samaritan Health Center, and it's a passion that I have in helping people. And our mission is to show God love, to spread God's love through quality healthcare to those who are in need.
I love that. What would you say that writing your story meant to you?
Writing my story, what this meant to me, it gave me an opportunity to discover some deep seated qualities I never knew I had. Writing was able to bring out some strengths in me that I never had. It gave me an opportunity actually to heal from the place that I was in or still am in, but it's a journey. So that's why it's coined a journey of love.
Okay. So, with your writing, how has the process of your writing allowed you, and you went into it a bit, but how has the process allowed you to like discover more of the strength that you have within yourself?
The process has helped tremendously in that as um, you write down your thoughts, you write down your feelings. Um, it's part of helping one to um, move from a place of, in my case, I experienced loss, the loss of a loved one, the loss of my husband. And it was very sudden. Um, and so, in order for me to uh, navigate forward, writing was part of the healing process to bring me out of that place of looking back and recognizing that there's hope.
Mm, I love that. I love that, and we're going to talk about that hope in just a bit. But um, what made you decide to share your story with the world at this time?
This was the right time for me to share my story, in that when you look around, when we see what's happening globally, we're in a pandemic. It's not uh, it's not just for the United States. It's all around. It's global. So many have lost. So many are feeling hopeless. And I believe that my story, penning my story, would be able to help so many who've lost a lot, lost suddenly. They just lost the one they weren't anticipating. It wasn't like they were sick for any lengthy periods. I lost my husband suddenly, and when you lose someone at such a quick and a sudden stage in your life, it can bring sadness. But I wanted to be able to offer hope, let someone know that, listen, it doesn't stop there. Life goes on.
Yes, indeed. And I thank you for that. And it's so important, especially with the day and age that we're living in now, COVID and Omicron and all of this, it's so many people have lost so many loved ones. And in a lot of cases, it's suddenly, and it's a lonely and a hard thing. And your chapter speaks to it so well. It speaks about, without me giving away too much, it speaks about a lot of those principles. And so when we get back, we will be back shortly. We're going to take a quick break and we're going to talk more about that. So we'll be back with Lorraine Ferguson.
Time. It has a different meaning in the U.S. Virgin Islands. It goes backwards, forwards, it stops. St. Croix is rooted in history. So much of it still remains untouched.
I remember running on these streets as a kid. This shop was right down there. It opened the same year I was born. This is where the original Crucian hook was born. It's the symbol of these islands. And I wanted to have my hands in that very same history. I want to be able to pass it down to my family while still putting a new spin on it.
The U.S. Virgin Islands, we have an amazing culture that developed over time from all over the world.
St. John feels so untouched. Being underwater is like another world. There's no worries, there's no stress. I can just escape. This is my happy place. My passion for scuba diving came at just being fascinated with the water and wanting to be a mermaid. And this is the closest thing I can get to achieving mermaid status. Canadians just love being outdoorsy. We live for adventure, so we love anything hiking, being on the water, diving, snorkeling, and St. John has it all.
It's like some spirit is protecting the island and keeping them raw. The Makujumbi watches over the island. From up there, they keep the evil spirits away.
Get down.
The nightlife in St. Thomas is absolutely amazing. There's always something going on. Everyone comes together to dance and catch a vibe. We're always celebrating. We celebrate freedom, culture, the food, the smell, the music. It's always a celebration. The people here are probably the most priceless thing because they keep the culture going. There's so many different influences on these islands. Food from all kind of countries coming together in new dishes. All of us came from somewhere, but all that we call this home. The VI is a new melting pot. This is where the past and the future comes together.
You know you are a hot fun. We are lime, we are laugh, we are chat, we no chill, we are hot fun. Temperature rise, beer vibes in ya, this a hot one. Link up, connect, bust a sweat when you're the fun, the hot one. We gonna spice it up like fire.
And we're back and we're so excited. We're talking with none other than Lady Loren Ferguson. And as we went to break, we were talking about the word hope and what that means. And you were getting ready to share with us about how hope is so important. And what I'd like for you to do is tell me how did you remain hopeful during this, as you've shared with our audience already, you lost your husband suddenly, and that is not the entire story of her chapter, as you will find out, but how did you remain hopeful to where you are? And it's been 10 years, I think you said, correct? Yes.
That's
How
correct.
do you remain hopeful?
I remain hopeful by it's something that's deep settled within me. One of my scriptures that I lean on solely is to trust in the Lord with all thine heart and not lean to thine own understanding, but in all your ways acknowledge him and he will direct your path. And while it's been a journey, it's been one of faith. It's been a one of courage. Every day I wake up, I'm encouraged to hope in God, to recognize that I'm in a place that God is not blinded to. He's very much aware of what's going on. So I find hope daily by putting my confidence in God, by trusting him with my heart, by knowing that he has a plan for my life. And he says they're thoughts of peace and not of evil. And it's to bring me to an expected end.
I love that. And in so many cases, people don't get that. And so there's an element of faith that I hear you speaking about. And what I would like for you to do, and we're going to also go back to our interaction because we have some questions and some comments coming up. But before that, I'd like for you to speak to that person who may not have your experience, and they're feeling that sense of hopelessness. What would you say to them to encourage them, to uplift them? And perhaps what would you also say to them in a manner in which they could possibly reach out for help? Because I know you talked about your job and some of the things that you do is definitely helping people in the community. So what would you say to that person who's feeling that hopelessness, whether it be because they lost a loved one through COVID or something else? What would you say?
Well, first of all, I would definitely say that in order for you to move forward, you have to recognize the fact that God is there for you, and that as you navigate forward, for me, what I love to do is to be able to tell people from the perspective of where I lost my husband suddenly, that there is life after death, after the death of a spouse. Yes, it's sudden. Yes, it's not what we expected. When you expect that you're going to live happily ever after. And when I walked down the aisle 30 years ago, I didn't expect my husband to go, but God knew. So for me, what I would do is to encourage that person who's out there. You may have lost a loved one suddenly, maybe in your parent, may have been a mother, father, and that person brought so much joy and happiness to you. Reflect on those happy memories that you shared, that you built together, and dwell on the positives, all the joy that that person brought in your life. And it brings you to a happy place. It brings you to a place where you can say, thank God that that person deposited into my life, and not just my life, but or your life, but into the world in which you are. And you were able to make that person was able to make a difference and impact so many lives, including yours.
That is so powerful and so true. You know, anyone who's had a loss, whether it be a loved one or someone, a close friend, you know, there's an aspect of their life and what they've deposited in that it continuing to live on in our memories and in so many other ways. I want to jump to some of our interaction because we've had quite a bit going on. Thank you for sharing. Has this inspired you to do more writing? Ah, somebody's digging in. They want to know if you're going to do some more writing. Thank you so much, Deanie. You can speak to that, and then I want to share what LaDre has shared with us as well. Go ahead.
Yes, actually, this has actually inspired me to do more writing in that. For me, writing is part of the healing process. I love to write. Many of those who know me knows that one of my passions is to encourage. I love to encourage persons from a place of letting them know that there is hope, that you can triumph in all the challenges and all of the setbacks that one experiences in life. Actually, some of the challenges that we experience on a daily basis are sometimes placed there to catapult you into your purpose and to your destiny. So yes, I am at a point right now where I am writing my next, or this will be a full book. Actually, this is a devotional, 30-day devotional on the paradigm shifts of life.
I love that. Thank you for sharing. We're going to talk about that a little bit later. But LaDre, thank you. And thank you, Deanie, for joining us. Loren, such perspectiveness in understanding how your writing could not only help to heal thyself, physicians heal thyself, unquote, but provide hope and healing for others. You are maintaining your calling of helping and giving back to the community. Yes, indeed. She is definitely doing that. And we are so proud of the work that you are doing. And in a lot of cases, we don't even know everything. However, I would like for you to, when we get back, because we're about to take a break in just a moment, but when we do get back, I definitely want you to share with our audience how they can reach you. Because you've already told us some of the things that you were doing, but I'd like for you to share with them, you know, how they can reach out to you, especially if they're in need of assistance. And we know that you are in the Georgia area, Atlanta, and I'm sure many of our audience members are able to connect. So when we get back in just a moment, we're going to come back with more Lady Loren Ferguson.
Hey.
welcome. My name is Carolyn Howell, and I'm the executive producer of the Caribbean Food Network, the newest and the most fabulous way to eat, drink, and think. Food, fun, anything culinary, travel, tourism, you name it, we're in. Right now, I'm standing in Cookology, or at least one of the Cookologies. Cookology is a fabulous recreational and professional way to learn how to cook. And isn't that what we all want to do? Eating is how we keep going. So in a minute, I'm going to introduce you to Maria. Maria is the founder and the owner of Cookology. We're so excited about our partnership and what the Caribbean Food Network is going to do. We can't wait for you to see. So sit tight.
Hey everyone, welcome to Cookology Culinary School. This is our location in Boston Quarter. We have been here since 2019. We have another one in Dallas Town Center. We've been there since 2009. We've been in business for 13 whole years, aside from the pandemic, which I did a lot of sleeping. But here we are. You want to look in? This is what you see when you come by Boston Quarter. It's fun. It's fun. It's potential fun. Everybody is looking to do something with their friends and family. So here is the front door. Follow the sign.
I used to watch BET, MTV, VH1, now I watch Tempo. Soca, Calypso, Reggae Dancehall. Don't stall, better get tuned in to the tempo. Don't have cable, they got an app. Go to your app store, download that. Whether it's tourism, cuisine, or the social scenes, if it ain't Tempo, it's a rap. Who got the Caribbean views? Tempo. Mr. Latest in Caribbean news? Tempo. You tryna cook Caribbean food? Tempo. You know they got the music videos too. Tempo. Who got the Caribbean views? Tempo. Mr. Latest in Caribbean news? Tempo. You tryna cook Caribbean food? Tempo. You know they got the music videos too. Tempo.
We're back and we're so excited about this wonderful conversation we are having with Lady Loren Ferguson. Before we jump into some more of our wonderful questions, we have interaction happening. Dr. Marthel says, thank you for sharing the power of creating positive memories to reflect on when experiencing sadness or loss. And I think, thank you for that, Dr. Marthel. That is so important, you know, because we know that everybody, if you live long enough, you're going to lose someone, you know, and understanding how to best handle it and in the most positive way, as well as what I want you to also discuss is reaching out for help. Did you have to reach out for assistance?
I did, I did reach out for assistance about 6 months after my husband passed. Uh, I didn't indicate this at the beginning, but I'm blessed to have four wonderful brothers. Um, I'm an only girl, and I feel like a princess amongst my four brothers, and now my two sons, and of course my late husband. But my brother said to me right after my husband passed that, sis, you're going to need some help because it was very sudden, and they recommended that I get counseling. And I was able to actually reach out to someone, a counselor, professional counselor, who counseled me at length. And this helped me tremendously. It brought me from a place of, because you can imagine when someone leaves your life suddenly. For me, it was like it was a numbing period in my life where I just um, I was just in a daze. I was in a daze, but counseling helped me. Um, and what this actual counselor said to me when I shared my story, she said to me, one day you are going to be sharing your story with many others because many of us are going to need help from their place of loss. And hence, that is what I'm doing today.
Oh, that is so powerful. And I just want you to know that we appreciate your sharing. And I think it's so important that you shared that you reached out for help and had a professional counselor to help you, because so many times there are people in our community who do not reach out for the assistance that they need, whether it be for grief or mental or whatever it is that they're going through. And it's just so important that we let everybody know, guess what? It's okay to
That's
reach out for some help. Why? Because we all need help occasionally,
yeah,
and it's so important to reach out to professionals who can actually help us. Um, and so as we're turning turning a little bit, I'd like for you to share, um, how would you say others have received your story thus far?
well, it's amazing. I'm going to share this one person who um, has read my story and indicated to me that my book is in a prominent area in their home, because every time they read my story, while they've experienced loss, what my story did for them was bring them to a place of hope, of confidence. And they're just so blessed every time they're able to. They've read it several times. And there's been many others who've read my story. Um, and most people, I believe, from reading my story, have been able to see where I've talked from the place of experiencing triumph, experiencing victory, experiencing the fact that God gives the assurance that I need to navigate forward in a place of doom. And even from the place of my sons, being able to provide for them encouragement, support, letting them know, well, we'll make it through this, and that God hasn't forgotten us.
Awesome. Well, we have some interaction happening. Ms. Nadine Moss says, I'm so proud of my sister. Such a powerful story. Thank you, Nadine, for joining us. LaDre Galloway says, there is such a block in the Black and Brown community when it comes to not only acknowledging the need of help, but support, but making the time to receive that support. So very, very true, which is why I'm so thankful that you are sharing your story and telling the world that, hey, you know what? I reached out for help and I got assistance. And guess what? Now I am living in in a triumphant manner. So
Yeah.
we're gonna talk more about that as well. So we thank all of our listeners and all of our audience members who are watching us for um, giving us questions and comments. And thank you so much for joining us. I would like for Lady Loren to tell us, what was the biggest surprise you encountered through writing your story? What was the biggest surprise?
My biggest surprise that I encountered while writing my story was the release that God was able to give me as I wrote, because writing is actually therapy for me, and I'm sure for many. So as I wrote, it released me from that place of one looking back, because there was a period of time where I was looking in that rearview mirror. I knew my husband wasn't coming back, but it was hard to move forward. So writing was able to help me. It brought me out of that place of doom and gloom and standing still. Just knowing that I was moving forward with purpose, that my life had purpose, my life had a meaning, that there was just so much that I could do, including helping people now from that place of loss. My writing, where my book would go and can go and will go, I may not be able to get to that place, but my book, my writings, my encouragement to that person who's experiencing loss will go.
That was so powerful and so very true, because you have made that effort and you put yourself out there, honestly. Because a lot of times when I've worked with writers, before the story comes out or before the book comes out, they're like, "Oh, I'm feeling all this anxiety." Why? Because you're transparent, you're sharing your heart, you're sharing your life, you're sharing your story, and it's going out to the world. But yours, as you have stated, is to encourage, uplift, and help others to have hope. And I that is such a powerful, powerful, powerful tool. So you've shared with us your biggest surprise, but I'd like for you to tell us, how did the story increase your faith? How did it increase your faith? And you've kind of given us a little bit of that, but I want you to focus and tell us, how did this story increase your faith?
It increased my faith by letting me know that in this journey of life, with all the things that could go the opposite way, and as I mentioned before, I'm writing now on the paradigm shifts in life, the change in scenes of life. What this has done to help me is brought me to a place of my faith as being strengthened. When I think of my sons, their accomplishment and where they are now, my eldest son is a U.S. Marine and just finished his stint as a Marine, U.S. Marine person. I know my late husband would have been proud of him today, of where God has taken him. And I knew it wasn't easy, but there was that hope to push him to, you can do it. There's purpose in your life. My youngest son, Leonardo, is an educator. And just seeing the various stages that he has gone through, both of them actually, and they've been able to accomplish this, not on their own, but through God. My writing, just knowing that all these things that are going on really encouraged me to say, I need to write this down, because at the time when my husband passed, my youngest son, Leonardo, was 13. and Bradley was 16. But I thank God for the hope that was placed in their lives and their accomplishments now. And I'm proud. I am proud.
You have a lot to be proud of. And when we come back, we're going to take a quick break, and we don't want our audience to leave us. When we come back, we're going to have more with Lady Loren Ferguson.
Mr. Melody, could you fly me far from here? Take me by the mind and guide me somewhere. Oh, Mr. Melody, I've been needing you so long. The blues have got hold of me and stolen my song. You were always there for me whenever I needed you to be. You were the light shining in the dark. Yeah, you helped me to believe. But right now I'm losing my faith. Find it hard just to make it through a day. I need you now, just as before. Won't you come and save the day? Come take me away. Help me to escape this pain that's thriving in my head. Oh, Mr. Melody, could you fly me far from here? Take me by the mind and guide me somewhere. Oh, Mr. Melody, I've been needing you so long. The blues have got hold of me and stolen my song. Ooh, you sound so good to me. Cause me to remember all my dreams. Every hope that I thought was lost, I find when I hear you sing. So now I'm calling out to you, asking you to see me through. Whisper in my ear in the sweet way that you do. Come take me away. Help me to escape this pain that's throbbing in my head. Oh, would you carry me through? Come quickly and soothe me. You're the only remedy. Mr. Melody, could you fly me far from here? Take me by the mind and guide me somewhere. Oh, Mr. Melody, I've been needing you so long. The blues have got hold of me and stolen my soul. When I'm lost, you come and save me. I don't care where you wanna take me, 'cause I know that you're gonna make me forget all my misery. When I'm down, you come and pick me up. When my heart is bleeding, you can stitch it up. And I'm so grateful that I have you to come rescue me. Mr. Melody, could you fly me far from here? Take me by the mind and guide me somewhere. Oh, Mr. Melody, I've been needing you so long. The blues have got hold of me and stolen my song. Oh, Mr. Melody, could you fly me far from here? Take me by the mind and guide me somewhere. Oh, Mr. Melody, I've been needing you so long.
so excited. We're with Lady Loren Ferguson. And as we are coming to somewhat of a close, I want to ask you, as you're part of the Discovering Strength series, I would like you to tell us, what does discovering strength mean to you? And how do you define strength for yourself?
I'm in a place where right now I would definitely say discovering strength has really helped me on this journey, this part of my 10-year journey of grief, has helped to bring me out of that place and recognize that there is hope. Strength can only be discovered from a place where there's sometimes turmoil, sometimes sadness, sometimes when everything is going everything but the way it needs to be going. That's how you discover strength. And being part of this book collaboration has definitely catapulted me into that place of recognizing that courage, God gives courage in a place where you never knew you'd be able to find it. Discovering strength has enabled me to realize that there is hope, and that it's also encouraged me to fulfill my purpose of writing, to encourage people on a daily basis, and through whatever means I can. And I have to add to my being part of Discovering Strength is another way to network with people in encouraging them on their journey of life. And life happens.
Oh, I love that. And thank you for sharing. Our next question for you has to do with why you feel that it was important to even share your story at this time, really, really quickly.
It was important for me to share this story at this particular time, with everything that is happening in our world, to provide an avenue for persons that are looking for some type of relief, some type of assurance, some type of hope. It was important for me to write this story at this very moment, to be able to be that person who will be able to liaise or to be available to those people who are in need.
Sharing with our audience how they can reach you. What's the best way for them to reach Lady Loren Ferguson as it relates to whether it be speaking or teaching or whatever it is of the many, many hats that you wear, whatever it is that you do, if they want to reach out to you, how can they find you?
Okay, well, I can be reached on several social media platforms. I can be reached on Facebook, Loren Thomas Ferguson. I can be reached on Instagram, Sophia Lowe. I can also be reached on my my actual website, which is lorenferguson.com. Also, I am the Women's Ministry Director, Pastor of Women's Ministries for my local church, the Church of God of Prophecy in Decatur, Covington Drive, Church of God of Prophecy, 3333 Covington Drive. And also, I'm a community manager for the Good Samaritan Health Center, which is located downtown Atlanta at 1015 Donald Hollowell Parkway. And we're there to meet needs, spread love.
Thank you. We have interaction happening with Paulette. Thank you for being with us, Paulette. It is so important to understand divine timing, she says. Thank you very much for that. as we are getting ready to head towards our ending segment, Loren, how are your sons doing today?
Oh wow, my sons are doing awesome, awesome, awesome. My eldest son is in Hawaii, remained in Hawaii right after he completed his stint with the Marines, and doing very well as a civilian now in Hawaii, working in his field of communications, doing very well. And Leonardo, my second son, is an educator working at a Christian school out of North Carolina. And they both make me proud, make me very proud. And I do.
Absolutely. I can absolutely understand why being a part of the Marines, as we know, the Marines is, when I think of the Marines, I think of the toughest, some of
Yeah.
the toughest of the tough. And of course, as an educator, being an educator myself, it's a blessing. We want you to share with us in the Harnessing Strength During Times of Uncertainty book. There were many stories. Were there any of the stories there, other than yourself, of course, that really resonated with you? Can you share that with us?
Yes, there is a story that resonated with me, and I believe it's the second chapter in the book, and it's called Love Found Me. And I know the person who wrote this story, and why it resonates so much with me in terms of the fact that love found her. I was so excited for her, so happy for her, not realizing that I would, at this very moment, be experiencing what she experienced of love finding her.
Wait
Love has
wait a minute.
found me.
Hold up. What did you just say? Wow, she says that at the almost at the very end. She's saying that love has found her. Okay, you got to take 60 seconds to tell us just a little bit about that. Just a little bit.
Well, I wasn't looking for it. I wasn't expecting it, but I can say love has found me. And right now it's being built. You know, when a house is being built, you know, you start from the foundation, you got to keep building. So that's all I can say for now, but love has found me.
Oh, we are so excited for love finding you and hearing more about that. But I'm just gonna on that one because that is so exciting, and we want to congratulate you. And I know our audience who are watching, they're probably like, wait a minute, what did she just say? Wait a minute, she just said, hold up, wait a minute. So before we close, we love to end with our joy moment. And as we're getting ready to conclude, I would like for you to share with our audience a joyous moment, past or present, in your life. And I would like for you to indeed describe it so that we can know what it might be. And we have some interaction happening. So, I got to pull it in to see. Nadine says, laughing out loud. We'll deserving for such an amazing, so well deserving for such an amazing person. Absolutely. And Yvette is so impressed with your journey and the strength and joys. Dr. Marthel says, so impressed with your journey and the strength and joys you shared with us today. There's hope for tomorrow. Thank you. And Yvette, oh, yes, indeed, Miss Yvette Woods says part 2. So that part 2 is, I'm just going to say, you're going to be able to give us some real details about that love finding you, right? How wonderful to hear, says Dre Galloway. So give us your joyous moment.
Well, my joyous moment was, it was amazing. There were just so many of my loved ones around including my wonderful parents, who I have not mentioned yet, Hilton and Norma Thomas. Oh, they are why I am where I am today. But when you look around, there was, oh God, so many persons who I know loved me and wanted the best for me. And, everyone was happy. Everyone was excited. Everyone was, this is a wow moment. And as I prepared myself to move into this joyous moment, a surprise happened, something I wasn't expecting.
Okay, so we got joyous moment, a surprise happening, loved ones around. Audience members, those of you who are in the audience and you're able to interact with us, you should be telling us what you think she's describing. What do you think she's describing? You're gonna have to give us a little more detail, because I'm thinking high school graduation. I'm thinking if not high school graduate, because family is there, right? And it's joy.
Yes,
wait a minute,
family is there.
Not graduation, maybe college. I'm just coming up with stuff, but maybe you need to give us a little more details.
Sure. It was a celebration, and it was a time where people joined from around the world.
Paula says an engagement. It wasn't an engagement?
It wasn't an engagement. I will tell you a little bit more. While all the anticipation was going forward, everybody joining in this time.
Okay. So someone says she's in love. Okay. Oh, someone says a proposal. And wait a minute, Paulette said, oh, a baby. Okay, wait a minute. Okay, sounds like a wedding. Was it a wedding?
It was a wedding, but I have to tell you this part about the wedding. So as I entered the church to walk down the aisle with my father, Hilton Thomas, escorting me down, and so many wonderful part of my bridal party, including Dawn, I listened to wonderful music being played. And there were professional musicians. It was a 10-piece band. And I am walking into One in a Million, played by a professional instrumentalist. And that person was, guess who? Mine.
None other than your husband, right? Awesome. And I tell you, Miss Loren, we are so thankful that you were able to share with us such wonderful aspects of your story, such depth and such transparency. We thank you for being our first guest in 2022. And we want you to know that we appreciate you and we love you. And thank you again for joining the Book Club show and sharing. We know that she's already told us how to reach her. And I want to say to our audience, please join us again in 2 weeks. We have indeed several special authors who are going to be with us sharing, and you do not want to miss it. So we will see you again in 2 weeks on the Book Club show. And we want to give a huge thank you to Ms. Lady Loren for doing such an amazing job sharing with us today. Thank you so much. We love you. Thank you for joining us today. Have a fabulous day on purpose. Why? Because you can.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. A delight.